Everybody talks about the down payment. You hear things like you need X amount down, how much should I save, what loan program are you using? But then buyers get under contract and suddenly I start hearing things like, wait, I have to pay for that too, or nobody told me there would be all these extra costs involved. And I get it, because when people think about buying a home, they usually think about the home price, and that's equaling what you have to pay, but there are a ton of moving pieces. So today I'm breaking down the hidden costs so you know what to expect before you start shopping to avoid those surprise moments. Let's start with one of the biggest surprises for buyers, and that's closing costs. A very common conversation goes like this: I'm putting 5% down on a $400,000 house, so I need $20,000, right? And my answer is maybe, but not necessarily, because the down payment and closing costs are two different things. Closing costs are the expenses involved with actually completing the transaction. Things like title fees, lender fees, appraisal fees, recording fees, escrow setup, prepaid taxes, homeowner's insurance, interest that may be collected up front. And I don't say all this stuff to scare people, but here's the good news. This does not automatically mean you're writing some giant unexpected check at closing. There are strategies. For example, depending on the market and the negotiation, we can sometimes ask the seller to give you concessions to cover these things. That means the seller is going to contribute money towards your closing costs. There are also down payment assistance options that may help you cover those things. And that's where having a good lender and a good real estate agent come together, because it's important to strategize. I've had situations where buyers thought they needed thousands more than they actually did because nobody had explained a strategy to them. Maybe we negotiate seller concessions. Maybe we structure those concessions differently. Maybe we use them towards closing costs. Maybe we use them towards buying the rate down. Maybe we use down payment assistance. There are multiple ways to approach it. Two buyers could buy the exact same house for the exact same price and walk away with completely different outcomes depending on the deal and how it's structured. The important thing is knowing this up front instead of falling in love with the house and then finding out there are additional expenses that you didn't expect. Now let's talk about another one that catches buyers off guard, and that's the monthly payment. A lot of buyers focus on principal and interest only, and they'll say, the mortgage calculator said my payment would be $2,100, and then we get them a quote and it's $2,600, because there are usually additional things included. Remember, PITI is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and potentially there could be HOA fees, mortgage insurance, flood insurance, special assessments. Let's use a simple example. You might buy a $400,000 home and think, great, my payment should be around this amount. But maybe this home has a $250 HOA fee, high property taxes, flood insurance requirements, and suddenly your payment looks very different than what you expected. And online calculators are one of the biggest reasons buyers get confused. Many of them leave things off or give incorrect estimates for taxes or underestimate insurance. Some don't include mortgage insurance, so buyers are shopping in one price range, and the reality is they're really in another. Don't shop based on the home price. Shop based on the payment you're comfortable with, and this is another place where strategy matters. Sometimes people become laser focused on one thing. I want the absolute lowest interest rate. Maybe the better strategy is reducing cash out of pocket, or lowering the monthly payment, or preserving savings so you know you're going to need reserves and have that after closing. The right answer isn't always the same for everybody. The goal isn't just about getting a loan, it's about building a plan around your life. Okay, now let's talk about the thing nobody posts on social media, because there are all kinds of costs that happen when you go under contract that people forget to plan for. Things like home inspections, termite inspections, surveys if needed, moving expenses, utility deposits or setup fees, appliances if they aren't included, unexpected repairs, and these things can really stack up really quick. I've had buyers budget perfectly for the purchase itself and then realize, wait, I need a refrigerator, or we didn't realize moving itself was going to cost this much, or we forgot we might need to replace a few things right away. Again, not trying to scare you, just prepare you, because if you know these things ahead of time, you can create a plan instead of being surprised. And then there are the costs after you own the home, because home ownership is amazing, but things happen, like water heaters failing, AC units not working, the roof is older, appliances break, things need maintenance. It's funny because when you rent, you call the landlord. When you own the home, you are the landlord. You are now the maintenance department. A good rule is having some reserves. Even putting a little bit away each month to cover those things will be very important for you and could help you in the future. And having that reserve can take a lot of stress in the home ownership piece. Buying a home isn't just paperwork. I think one of the biggest misconceptions people have is thinking, I found a house, now I just need somebody to process the loan. That's really not how this works. A great agent and a lender should be helping you think ahead and solve problems before they actually happen. A good agent is negotiating beyond just the price. They're looking at seller credits, repairs, inspection items, closing timelines, contract terms, and potential risks. A good lender is doing the same thing from the financing side. We're looking at cash needed to close, monthly payment strategies, loan programs, interest rate options, down payment assistance, long-term financial goals, because negotiating a real estate deal is an art. There isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's layering pieces together strategically. Sometimes it means asking for seller concession instead of a price reduction, and sometimes it means using credits differently. Sometimes it means structuring things in a way that protects your cash reserves. The buyers who actually have the smoothest experience aren't necessarily the buyers with the biggest bank account. They're often the buyers with the strongest team surrounding them. So if you're watching this and thinking, wow, this sounds expensive, that is not the point of this video. The goal isn't to scare you away from buying a home. It's actually the opposite, because when you understand these things before you start shopping, you feel more confident. You make smarter decisions and you avoid expensive surprises. And remember, buying a home isn't just about finding the house. It's about having the right people helping you navigate the process. If you have questions about your specific situation, drop home in the comments. And if you found this helpful, make sure you like and subscribe, because I post weekly videos on mortgages, home buying strategies, and ways to help you make better financial decisions.